Right, hello again, everyone. My next question that's come through is from Chloe. Is there any way to stop my dogs from incessantly barking at things when they're out in the garden? They bark at cars, loud aeroplanes, people. It's like they're guarding the property, but will happily let people come in the garden when they're in it. Now, I very much doubt then that they're guarding the property. If they're letting people come in, you can normally tell this through the bark itself. You can, if you listen to a dog's barking, you get a different tone with each bark. And if you listen carefully, if I walk down the street and I hear dogs barking in gardens, I can normally tell the difference between, is it frustration, is it territorial, is it nervousness, is it alert bark. So try and take a minute just to actually listen to the sound of the bark. And try and recognise how's the dog feeling at the time when this happens. Now, it's quite normal. Obviously, dogs are territorial, and obviously, if you're walking past their territory, they'll let you know, hey, keep on walking by. This is my territory. So it may be territorial, but not necessarily aggression. Just to remind everyone, hey, this is our house. Please keep on going by. Might be one of your issues. A lot of the time, what you get in these situations is you get dogs that are bored and frustrated. So when they're out in the garden, they're out running, they're playing, they're excited, and then the frustration that they've got will come out through barking at people. Now, every dog should have a purpose in life, and it needs a job. And if we don't give our dogs a purpose and a job, they'll find their own. They'll go self-employed. You see it a lot of the time with obviously work and breeds, and they just can't cope with being just a pet and that's it. But you'll see it in any breed of dog. They need something to do, and they need to put their energy somewhere. Well, something I talk about a lot is the difference between a symptom and a root cause. A lot of what people focus on is the symptom that they're seeing, whether that be destructive behavior, whether that's aggression, whether that's barking, like in your case. But that is a symptom. But what is the root cause? I always tackle the root cause of a problem before I tackle a symptom, or at least try to do that. And I want you to ask yourself, how much exercise are you giving your dogs at the moment? Now, again, I get it, everyone. Like right now, we're in a tough time, but you are still allowed to walk your dog. And a dog needs a walk, and if they're not walked, or they're not fulfilled with their walk, and maybe you're not exercising enough, they get layers of pent up energy, which they can't just hold it in. Now think about it. In these times that we're in with this whole lockdown and quarantine, how many of you are at home and you're bored, right? And you're trying to find things to do. Now we've got books to read, laptops, tablets, phones, television, movies, like whatever. We've got an array of things to do. What have our dogs got? Now, when you take a minute to think about that a dog can't just open up a laptop or go on their phone and scroll through their social media. They've got to find themselves something to do, just like we do. Everyone at the moment is doing a lot of DIY and all sorts of things just to occupy themselves. Now, our dogs will do the same, but they have to do it in a different way. So you might be in a situation where you've just not fulfilled your dog's needs properly, so it fulfills its own needs through barking, etc. And I hope this helps other people as well in this situation, because you might have a different symptom, but the root cause might be the same. So take a minute to think, right, I want my dogs to be able to go in the garden and just relax out there and not bark at people. But what do your dogs need in order to do that? You need to really be the one that fulfills their needs first before you get what you want. They're practicing a natural behaviour. To bark at people, it's not wanted by us, but it's normal in their eyes. So let's fulfill them. Let's tire them out so they're actually tired when they go into the garden. Or if you go out into the garden with them, we've got nice weather at the moment, and you play with them, you have some fun, and you drain some energy. Then you ask them to go into a rested state. So I want you to take some time really to think about more the root cause of the problem, as opposed to just concentrating on a symptom. Now, if we've tackled the root cause of the problem and we've actually exercised our dogs enough, then we can start to practice some rules. So you can think of your garden like a playground for a school. Now, when children are in the classroom, they're expected to follow a certain set of rules and understand their limits to talking or laughter or anything like that. It's quite strict in the classroom. But then they get to go out in the playground. Now, when they go into the playground, then they're not allowed to just do whatever they want. There's still rules and there's still limits in these situations. So the kids can run around and play and have fun, which they can't do in the classroom, but they're only allowed to run so fast, or they're only allowed to scream so loud. So this is what I mean by limits. We have dinner ladies, or I think they call them like lunchtime leaders or something nowadays. Teachers wandering about. That is to just keep an eye on things and make sure that everyone's staying safe and everyone's following the rules, so no one gets hurt or no one gets upset. We need to do this for our dogs. If you just let them in the garden do whatever they want, guess what? They're going to do whatever they want. So let's not just let them do whatever they want. You need to get out there and you need to get your time in first. So let's look at how you're telling your dog not to do that. A dog will only understand not to do something if they're given the guidance not to do it. Now, every dog is different, so I don't really want to touch on a touchy subject here on how to correct the behaviour, because I might give you the wrong advice without meeting your dog on exactly how to correct it. But most people will just say no to the dog, and the dog won't understand exactly that you don't want it to bark at people. Now, if your dog's out there and it's unsupervised and it's just barking, and after 10 barks you've gone out there and you said, hey, get in, they won't connect that to you didn't want me barking at those people. They'll just come on in, hopefully. So you need to try and correct your dog in these situations in a way in which they understand. So let's get our timing right. You need to supervise your dogs when they go out into the garden and try and recognize that moment just before they start barking. You'll see a change in body language normally, or you might be able to get one step ahead and actually hear the person or hear the cars coming by. Now, as they're about to bark, that is the time to say no, because if you want no barking, you need to tell them that just before they bark, so the intention to bark is there, but they haven't quite got to that stage yet, or maybe they've just started to bark. Then you say no. Don't just call them in. What you want to do then is then take one behaviour and create a new one. So if you stop them and you get your timing right, like I'm crucial and I'm massive on timing. Like if you get your timing right, that's how a dog understands. And again, this is where our limits come in. If you're only telling your dog no after it's been barking 5, 6, 10 times, it's not going to know that you don't want any barking. So get in there as early as possible, say no, but then hold that situation. And again, if you take yourself back to school, think of that teacher that you liked and respected. If they catch you talking, they'll give you a look. They might not necessarily say anything, but they'll stop and they will just focus on you. And what they expect you to do then is stop talking to your friend, pick up your pen and focus on them. Then they carry on teaching the class. So you learn how to switch them off, but you can sense from their energy and their body language that they're unhappy with what you're doing. You can kind of practice this with your own dog. You haven't got to shout and scream and get angry with them or anything like that, but that calm and confident energy that the teacher that you liked and respected would have shared with you, you can practice that with your dog. So you're giving them that look. You might use sound of hey or no or whatever it is that you use to stop them, but get your time in a little bit earlier, but then hold that energy till so when they're in that tense state that they're about to bark, but you wait until they relax and calm down, then you walk away. Then they learn that, okay, so you don't want me barking at people, but you want me calm instead. We're then on the right path then from swapping one behaviour for another. I really hope that makes sense. It can take some time to practice this, I get it, but try and think in your head what it is that you do want. Everyone focuses on what they don't want. So I don't want barking. Now, try and picture and create what it is that you do want. You want your dog to be able to go out there and be calm when people go by or cars go by. So first of all, let's make sure we're fulfilling the needs of the dog. Let's drain the energy somewhere. Let's redirect that energy they're putting into people and dogs and tire them out. That old saying, tired dog's a good dog, so true. So let's make sure we're tiring the dogs out first, before we just let them in the garden. Like I say, if you go out there with them and maybe tire them out, but then calm them down. But then let's focus on what do we want. We want calmness. So let's have people walking by start to trigger calmness because you've taught them that you want them calm. Again, stop them as early as possible. Okay, so you correct them, word no. Okay, whatever it is that you're using at the moment, you just might be doing it a little bit too late. Everyone corrects their dog in some way in life. I know it's a touchy subject, but we can't just let them do whatever they want all the time. There's sometimes we have to say no. If you drop a glass on the floor, they come out to investigate, you will say no. It's just safety. So you haven't got to do it in an angry way or anything bad. It's just you're letting them know, I don't want you to do that. But your timing is crucial. Get it done as early as possible and then wait, hover and follow through until you get the calm behavior you do want, then just walk away. You don't need a big praise or big excitement because that will bring them back up to an excited state again. You just need to get them calm and then walk away and leave them calm. So then they learn, okay, that's what you want. If you practice that and repeat this, that's what they learn to do when cars or people go by. They learn to just be calm with that because they get told they're not allowed to bark and you've got your timing right. I hope that makes sense again. Obviously, if you need some more help with that, just get in touch. And anybody else that's got any questions, feel free to send them in. Either comment on the post or send a message, and I'll try and get through these. Hope it helps. Take care.